Chapter 13. Trapped. We arrived back at the house, being extra careful that we weren't being followed. Hal stood on the front porch with a worried expression. The blue was turned off for our arrival. Eve and I climbed, while Alice squeezed through the post. Hal motioned for the three of us to head inside. We did what we were told, without hesitation. He led us into the living room, where we took our places like normal. Eve was deathly silent. In fact, everyone was quiet. It's freaking me out. It seems like we've all just given up because of a number. I don't know what I did to move us up the rank, but I didn't mean... I began. It wasn't you, John. Remember when I tried to stop Eve from picking up that clue? Discovering a clue moves up the entire team's rank, especially the person who discovered it, Hal explained. How do you know that? I questioned. I was rank 1 for 2 years for a reason, he added. Eve, you will no longer be going on missions until your rank lowers. That's not fair. I'm the only person who can hack into the server. You need me, she begged. Alice is a quick learner. But I can do it faster. Please, I can't just sit here, Eve whined. Yvette, Ian will be after you for the clue. Do you understand me? I will not let you die under my watch. And if that means locking you up like a child, then I'll do that, Hal barked, protectively. It's not fair, Eve argued. Life's not fair. It's not like you can keep me here. I'll join Team 2 or 4. You can't do this. Enough. Go to bed, all of you. In the morning we can figure out what to do next, he commanded, ignoring Eve's cries. Eve crossed her arms in a childish manner, running up the stairs in a fury. Alice let out a long groan before following her. A loud slam rang through the house. I looked at Hal, who rubbed his temples. John, do me a favor. After you bandage up your arm, can you sit out of Yvette's room tonight? I don't want her throwing a fit and running out, he asked. She really doesn't want to stay in, does she? I pointed out, worried about her. She's too hyper to stay inside all day, but what choice do I have? He let out a long sigh. It really sucks being the adult. It just dawned upon me. Why did I not see it before? Hal's become a parent to them. That's why they stick with him. He's become the father figure. That's why both girls are so attached. What's going to happen if we don't figure this out in 4 months? I walked upstairs, leaving Hal alone in the living room. I made my way to Eve's room, where I could clearly hear her cursing. She must be pissed. I know I would be if I was in her situation, but she had to see Hal is only doing what's best for her. I can't just leave her like this. I know I'll regret this, but... I knocked on the girl's door. Eve? Where do you keep bandages? I figured that's a good way to start a conversation, because I really don't know. Go away, John, she spat. Oh no. Getting weak. Can't go on, I joked, falling against the door, creating a loud thump. She opened the door with panic. Her eyes locked with mine on the floor. I sat with a wide grin, much like a puppy, being greeted by their master. Oh, hello there, I laughed. Jerk. I thought you were actually hurt, Eve growled. Well, actually, I am losing a good amount of blood from my shoulder, and the world is starting to get a little fuzzy. I really do need her help, but I still want her to feel happy too. Oh God. Come in, but you're not staying. Eve invited me in, with annoyance. I sat on the floor next to her bed to avoid getting my blood in her white sheets. Eve walked to her closet. She took down the black bag that she had brought home earlier. Her fingers searched through the fabric with practice, pulling out the medical tape, bandages, a wrap, and gauze. The last thing she pulled out was a bottle of red liquid. And a needle. She filled the needle and walked towards me. What are you doing with that? I questioned, and put out my good hand to stop her from coming any closer. What's wrong? She asked. I just don't like that, okay? There's a pit. A bad feeling in my stomach. You're afraid of needles? She nearly laughed. That, and you look like a clown, I joked, with fear. Clown? She seemed insulted. Not like Ugh, I can't think when you're holding that. Can I talk my way out of this later? I begged. You took a sword to the shoulder, but you can't handle a needle? Eve argued, walking closer to me. It'll numb the pain. She stuck the needle into my right forearm. Shh. See? It's not that bad. You sound like you're poisoning me. You're not poisoning me, are you? I asked, gritting my teeth. I really don't want to be near that thing. She pulled out the needle, and instantly the pain lessened. I sighed with relief, as the liquid was almost instantaneous. I'm not poisoning you. That comes later, Eve joked, wrapping the gauze and bandages around my shoulder. She moved her hands down to my fingers. Can you move them? I twitched my fingers, causing pain to run up my arm. I'd prefer not to. The pink-haired girl removed her hands and stood from the floor, placing the bag back into the closet. You'll have to get that checked out with Olive, she suggested. Thank you. Well, I couldn't let you bleed out in the hallway, she sighed. No, I mean for everything. For giving me a place to stay, for patching me up, and for, well, being my friend, I thanked. Her cheeks turned rosy. I think I'm supposed to be mad, Eve whispered softly. Hal's just protecting you, I explained. I don't think you get it, John. In this world, it's live or die. I know what Hal wants to protect me from and all, but sitting in a house all day is no way to live. None of us know if we'll ever find out who the killer is, but I know well that I don't want my last days to be confined in prison. Hal has given up, but he would never say that. His eyes, however, tell a different story. He wants to fight, but no one sees a point anymore. I know I don't. I accepted the fact that I'm going to die a long time ago, but that's not going to stop me from fighting, so I won't have to. When I look at Hal, I see someone lost behind the maze of his own walls, while when I see someone like you... She paused. You must think I'm an idiot. I don't. In fact, you seem really smart, and a little twisted in mind, but smart. What about me? I replied. It's just you have so much hope for the hopeless. You're not like the rest of us. None of us have any hopes to give, and yet here you are. It's nice to see it again, she sighed. I grabbed the girl's hand with my left and stared into her eyes with a serious expression. Eve, I promise that I will win this game, and when we're back in the real world, you can return the favor to whoever I am. You're such a child. A promise means nothing in this world, Eve growled. A promise is a promise, and I'll make it mean something. Get out, she barked, ripping her hand away. What? I asked, surprised. Did I say something to piss her off? I told you, you're not staying. Don't you remember? A sarcastic smile met her lips. A promise is a promise.